Well, I guess that means it's Monday evening here at the PJ Campbell Network, and we are hosting quite the watch along tonight, our last of the family-friendly scary movie squad. Feels weird to even say that we're there at this point, but we are. And I can't wait. I'm excited about watching Frankenweenie with you guys. I am your host, PJ Campbell. Sorry about the delay. I've been having all sorts of weird tech issues before we even got on here, but we're here now. You can see it's myself, Maxwell, and Chris. I hope you guys are doing well out there in the internet space. I know today has been a little bit of a punch in the throat for a lot of us in a way that we knew was coming, but doesn't make it better. But it happened. It happened, and one more week till the election. Vote, please, for the love of God, vote.
Yep, voting is our right. We're very lucky to live in a country that extends us that right, and to not use it is a selfish mistake, and that's all I'll say. And yeah, our apologies for the delay. Sometimes technology is amazing, and sometimes it's not. And that's just how it goes. But we're here to watch Frankenweenie. We're going to watch the short film and the feature-length film. And before I go into a little bit about what we have coming up this week on the network, I just want to give a little backstory about Frankenweenie. So in the 80s, Tim Burton was working at Disney as an animator and a concept artist. He was working on films like The Fox and the Hound, Tron, and The Black Cauldron. He got his hands on some money to make this short film, Frankenweenie. And when the execs at Disney saw it, they fired him because they said he was wasting company resources. Later, after The Nightmare Before Christmas hit, they ended up putting it on that DVD release. And we know that Tim has now had an incredible career with Disney. You know, he made them over $1 billion with Alice in Wonderland. So This guy who they fired in the 80s for, quote unquote, wasting company resources is now arguably one of their most successful filmmakers of the last 10 to 15 years. So in 2010 or so, they were like, hey, remember that short film you made? Let's make a feature-length stop motion animation film out of it. You can have whatever money and cast you want. So I think it just goes to show that if you have a vision and you stick with it and you fight for it, sometimes things will come back around and work out in your favor. It is honestly one of my favorite, like, behind-the-scenes Hollywood stories, just because he literally got fired for this short film, and then a little less than 20 years later, they were like, let's try it again. But yeah, we're going to start with the short film. It's 26 minutes long, probably a little less when you subtract the credits. It's on Disney Plus. There is a watch party on Disney Plus for the animated film. I'm not sure how well the Disney watch parties work or how many people can get in there, but there is a link for that in the YouTube description. And also, as Brandy Parker always says, even if you're just stopping by, give us some likes. Likes on our videos help engagement, help us build an audience, and subscribe if you haven't. We have some really cool stuff coming up the next couple days. It's Halloween week. PJ said that this is our last family-friendly scary movie squad watch along. I cannot believe that. I feel like it was just August and we were doing Monster Movie Month. Yeah. And on Sunday it's going to be November.
It doesn't feel real at all.
March and April were two of the longest months of my life, and October was one of the shortest, and I don't know what to attribute that to, but here we are. Tomorrow night, exclusively on our Twitch. If you haven't checked out our Twitch, please go over there and follow us. We're going to be doing something really fun. We're going to be playing Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. These were Game Boy Advance games in a totally new randomized fashion. Our starters, every trainer, every gym leader, and every encounter totally randomized. Myself, my wife Liz, Sean, Sully, Jillian, Kristen Smith, and Chris. And we're all six of us are going to be playing, helping each other out, guiding each other through this journey. That's going to be an hour later than our normal time, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, only on Twitch. So do head over there to watch it. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a bit of an experiment.
It's an experiment. So we'll see how
I think I'm going to come and hang out, and I might even just be there for, you can
join and just talk.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot. Because we're gonna all be focused on making sure we're all helping each other. You can be there for chat and stuff.
I'll fully admit that I love video games, but I am a very poor video gamer. I struggle a lot of the time and get lost. So to have the help will be fun.
Yeah, you'll have me, Kristen, and Sean.
Liz is an incredible.
Liz is
an incredible gamer. So if we buy a game, we'll sometimes
This is
buy.
true.
Sometimes we'll buy one copy, and I'll be frustrated and stuck in like the beginning, and like she's beaten it before I've gotten to level 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. And Pokemon's pretty simple. It's
yeah, no, I love Pokemon games. I think they're
Yeah.
a blast.
It's cool.
Wednesday night. I'm so excited for this. We are doing a new concept of Suddenly Soundtracks called Add It to Playlist, where instead of like battling it out or creating like some master top 10 list, we're just gonna say what our individual list would be if we were making a playlist for a Halloween party. I'm gonna be there. Tim the Tank Franco, Danny from Call to Action, Rachel Silvestrini, and of course Chris. And if he doesn't wear that hat, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
It's a curation kind of show. We're
cute. Yeah, exactly. Thursday night, we're not doing anything, as I mentioned a few times.
Break.
Front Center Mez is on a little hiatus, and let me tell you, we all need a little break.
Break night.
Oh, which reminds me, speaking of that, I need to put something in our overlays.
Friday night is thematically similar to tonight in that we're watching another Timmy Burton film. I may be the first person alive to have ever called him Timmy Burton, but I'm sticking with it. We are watching Timmy Burton's Sleepy Hollow. I think it's one of his best films. I know Chris Clark is a huge fan of it.
Love it.
We're going to have a really fun panel. We're being joined by Aaliyah. Some of you, I'm sure, know her. I think it's going to be her channel debut. I think it's going to be an awesome, fun time. And then Saturday is Halloween. And boy, do we have a double feature plan for you. I assume we'll start earlier than normal. Check our social medias and our shows later in the week for officially what time that's going to be. But we're doing Mike Doherty's Trick or Treat, which I think is one of the very best Halloween-themed films ever made. I think it is so fun, so joyous, so scary, so clever. And I think Sam is a true icon of the holiday. And then we're following that up with the 2018 Halloween, which is one of my top 3 favorite Michael Myers movies. I think it's fantastic. I'm so excited for the sequel, and I'm excited to watch it again, especially with Chris, who's never seen it, because I do have to say, Halloween 18 is intense at times, and that's part of what I loved about it is how they really returned Michael back to his sort of like primal self that he was in those first two movies. Then, of course, Sunday we'll be back with the Unwind. I love doing this every Sunday. The reaction thus far has been great. Just a way to chill, and I'm sure we'll have lots of fun stuff to talk about. Of course, we have to give a huge thanks to our Patreon producers with this lovely little thumbnail I threw together earlier. It's one of my favorites I've done, just because Frankenweenie is so cute, and I was able to find the exact font they used. So it made me happy. Our brand new executive producers, Brandy Parker and Ricardo Franco. Our Ruby tier producers, Brandon Buckingham, Kale the Youth Critic, Stephen White, Ferris Muthana, Michael K. Bedore, and Molly Damon. If you want to join our Patreon, and if you want to be a producer and get shouted out in every episode, $10 and up gets these credits. Here's a real quick look at the different tiers we have. Check us out on Patreon. Your support is not unnoticed. We appreciate you immensely. I don't have the...
I'm literally pulling it up right now.
Thumbnail for it, but as we announced on the Unwind last night, and I want to talk about this just for a second, especially with what just happened earlier tonight. We're doing something on election night, November 3rd, called the PJCN Safe Space. This will be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. A lot of us from the channel, I know the 3 of us will be there. I know Tim will be there.
I believe Sully said he was going to be there.
Sully's going to pop by. Christian will probably pop by. Just to hang out, maybe play some games. Maybe we'll play some Jackbox. Keep a little eye on the election results, see how it goes. We just want to be like
keep positivity.
We just want to keep it positive and be there to support each other on what is sure to be a fraught evening.
And I know that it says 6 p.m. I may even start it earlier, depending on how much we've already started drinking and how we're feeling about the night. So,
watch social media for it.
Watch our social media. 6 p.m. is normally when we'd probably start something like that. We may go earlier just because we may need it.
I just said 6 p.m. because that's when polls close. So
no, totally. I understand that completely. More of a, we're going to need it, you know, that sort of thing. So if we need to be on earlier because we're all feeling stressed, we'll be here for you guys.
That being said, I think we should get started, especially because, again, I apologize we started late. We're going to start with the short film. It's available on Disney+. It does say Frankenweenie and then the word short in parentheses. So make sure you're on the right one. And if you look down at the time code, it's 26 minutes and 55 seconds. Just want to make sure you guys are starting the right film. And I do agree with this. November 3rd is, if not the biggest, definitely one of the biggest days in the history of this country. And we will be there for you.
Yeah.
If you have never been here for one of our watch-alongs before, welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you have, you know how this works. But PJ is going to count down from 5. We're all stopped at 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 on the film. He'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. We don't start on 1, we start on go. We'll all press play together, and we'll watch the Frankenweenie short film. We'll talk about it. We'll take like a 2-minute pause after it's done, and then move on to the feature-length film. I love starting a feature-length film with a short. It feels like we're in the 50s.
It really does. I was really excited
should throw a newsreel in there, be like, this just in, the world is on fire. And
we should do this more often,
Tim
really.
Burton's Frankenweenie.
Right?
Yep.
Well, with that, guys, I guess I'll count us in. As soon as I say go, hit play, we're going to watch the Frankenweenie live-action short before we head into that brilliant animated stop-motion film.
And yes, this does star the one-of-a-kind Shelley Duvall.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
So
sir.
rockin' nursery rhyme.
Let's do it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. I love seeing that old Buena Vista distribution logo. I haven't seen that in so long, man. I mean, outside of obviously watching stuff on here.
Must have been awkward for him to get fired from this and then hired for Nightmare.
Yep.
Aww. It's a dog.
For those who are wondering, they spent about $1 million on this short film.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot for a short film in 1984, which I think is partly why he got fired. And then he went and did Pee-wee's and Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands, Batman, Ed Wood, and Disney was like, oh, this guy is talented. What did we do?
What's going on, Cam? It's good to see you. Happy to
Cam.
have you here. I love that even this was shot in black and white, too.
Mm-hmm. Is Shelley Duvall in the stop motion one?
These are not scary.
No.
These are children's films. But hi.
He's from Home Alone.
Yeah, that would be Daniel Stern.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He was also the voice of Dilbert on the short-lived Dilbert TV series from like the early 2000s, late 90s. We don't really talk about Dilbert anymore, but back in the day, I used to like the cartoon.
Who is that? What's that kid from?
He was in Cocoon.
Yep.
Daniel Stern, for what it's worth, in my opinion, has the greatest scream in the history of cinema. In Home Alone, when the spider is put on his face, and then there's a pause, and he lets out that scream. There was a while where that was my ringtone, and it was so obnoxious, and it made me happy.
Never-ending Story. Oh. He's a Never-ending Story.
He kind of looks like Michael Angarano.
Yeah.
What a morbid way to start a short film.
Well, it's so interesting, too, and we'll talk about it, obviously, when we get there, but how similar, obviously, they should be, right? They're same story and stuff, but, I mean, he really doesn't vary.
I love these
tombstones.
headstones for the pet cemetery, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like this fish. It's so clever.
You know what is funny about that, to your point, is that there is a Frankenweenie tombstone now at the Haunted Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Which I appreciate that they did kind of let it live on. Oh, Tim Franco's in the chat. What's going on, buddy? Never-ending Story. That's what everyone's talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. I just remembered it was never-ending.
Yeah. Also, Daniel Stern was great in Rookie of the Year, Brian. I agree with you.
I love he directed Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I love Rookie of the Year. It's one of my favorite baseball movies, and Daniel Stern directed that movie. He is hilarious in that movie.
The 80s had some real great horror, or the 80s and 90s had some great sports films, is what I was going for.
They do not make live action family films like they did in the 80s and 90s.
No.
In my opinion,
God,
they
no.
just don't.
There's a discrepancy between family films and children's films nowadays, and it's a conversation I've had with you personally. But I think that the studios have forgotten that there was a balance between doing movies for kids and movies for families, and they haven't figured out that balance again. Because movies like Despicable Me, like I enjoy the first Despicable Me, but it's so purely aimed at children, not necessarily families in the same way that something like Frankenweenie was.
Even animation aside, and I adore animation, I think live action, like if you look at like The Sandlot, The Big Green, Mighty Ducks,
totally.
Those are all sports movies.
The Jungle Book,
the Dennis the Menace movie, the Addams Family movies.
Yeah.
They do not make live action family films at the same rate and of the same quality. There's a couple. I enjoyed the Goosebumps movies.
Those were some of the closer to, if you will. And from what I understand, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark as well.
Scary Stories is a little scarier in my opinion, but it's in the same, yeah.
Right.
The film earlier this year, Wendy, by Ben Zeitlin, his follow-up to Beasts of the Southern Wild, which is a bit more of an art film. I still felt like the type of family film we don't get anymore, although the last thing we need is more Peter Pan adaptation. So here's a question I have.
Yeah.
It is such a trope in cinema and television to have kids dissect frogs in class. Right. Did either of you or anyone in the chat actually have to do that in school?
I did.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I did not.
Oh, go ahead, Chris.
I did, but you guys won't believe this. I have a vivid memory of dissecting a fish in kindergarten.
A fish?
Yeah, it's a fish.
In kindergarten?
In kindergarten.
Jeez Louise.
I remember it vividly, and my teacher got in trouble for it.
I mean, I have vivid memory of like buying fish to cook for dinner, and Heavyweights is fantastic.
Little Monsters too.
Oh, Monster Squad.
Yeah, Monster Squad, man. Oh.
We were all
obviously everyone knows and thinks of Shelley Duvall from The Shining, but she's so good in so many other things.
Popeye.
Yes, she has such a unique look.
Yeah, I grew up with her in Rock and Rhyme. I don't know if you ever saw that. Yeah, with Little Richard as Old King Cole.
I have seen that.
It's a bop. I want to do that at sometime, but yeah, it's ridiculously odd.
I really wish that The Shining hadn't kind of broken her, man. Like I love her as an actress.
Let's just be clear. It's not The Shining that broke her. It's Stanley Kubrick that broke her.
Yes.
And I do think Stanley Kubrick is one of the great filmmakers, but the toxicity at times on his set was not necessarily the healthiest thing, and it's partly why I take such issue with the notion of auteur theory.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an excuse to allow abuse to happen, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with any of what you just said.
I love the sort of the full frame, or it's almost an Academy aspect ratio here. I think especially black and white cinematography looks great in Academy ratio, like The Lighthouse last year looks incredible and is shot in full frame.
Well, and the thing I've always liked about it too is that in a very specific way, it also does feel like a throwback to the Universal Monster movies, because so many of those early ones were that Academy ratio.
Yep.
So it definitely feels like a nod to that as well. Like if you're doing a movie based on those properties and like a love letter to them, you might as well do it that way. Kale said he dissected a frog in middle school, but the frogs were already humanly euthanized and we weren't doing it like torture for the frogs.
Nashville is an incredible film. I think Altman's such a great director.
Oh, dude, Altman is one of my favorites.
And, he gets discussed a lot, but I still don't think gets discussed enough. And in the same breath as some of the greats he's as good as.
Yeah. I mean, you've heard me wax poetic about The Long Goodbye. I think it's his masterpiece, and not a lot of people have seen it, but Nashville, MASH.
I'm a huge fan of both Shortcuts and Gosford Park. I think Gosford Park is one of the great whodunit, upstairs, downstairs styles movies ever made.
The Player.
The Player's great. And Altman, he could do any genre.
Yep.
He even did the Prairie Home Companion film.
Yep. That was his last movie, I believe.
Garrison Keillor is proven to be a piece of crap, but
Yeah.
I like the movie.
I'll say this, too. If you guys loved Uncut Gems, I cannot recommend enough going back to Robert Altman's filmography because...
Especially like Nashville and Shortcuts.
And MASH, too.
The pacing of it, the way they talk over each other, the franticness. The Safdie brothers are definitely very inspired by the work of Altman.
Yeah.
And also, obviously, Paul Thomas Anderson, especially his earlier films, Boogie Nights and Magnolia, owes so much to Shortcuts. And, of course, Julianne Moore is in Shortcuts and Boogie Nights and Magnolia, so she's like kind of a thread through those.
Yeah.
I can't get over how much this kid looks like a young Michael Angarano.
You're really not wrong on that at all.
It's kind of like blowing my mind.
This is so brilliantly shot, too, for being a short film.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny, like the little bat coming out, and he would go on to do Batman just a few years later.
Yeah.
I think a year later, right? This is 88?
No, this is 84.
84, okay.
Kale says, screw auteur theory. The best scenes don't always come from the director.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, if I've learned anything from a lot of the best director and actor collabs, they work tandem, you know?
This music is so good. I
am choking on popcorn.
Composed by David Newman, who is the brother of Thomas Newman and cousin of Randy Newman.
There's some talent in that family is what you're saying.
Every time I tell people that Thomas Newman and Randy Newman are cousins, they're like, wait, really?
I love that.
David Newman has only gotten one Academy Award nomination for his score to Anastasia, but what a score that is.
It's beautiful.
And when you combine the Newman family, they are the most Oscar-nominated extended family in history.
Reefism, I love MASH also. It's one of my favorite films. I also think it was one of the most brilliant TV shows of all time.
Isn't there another extended family that has a lot of nominations?
Tim is calling you out, by the way.
I would imagine the Coppola family, considering like
Jason, how many?
Yes,
Sophia, Roman, Jason Schwartzman, Nick Cage, they're all kind of part of that family.
Talia Shire.
Yeah.
So many.
I went to a concert at Lincoln Center a couple years ago. It was the scores of Pixar, and they were playing the live scores set to various scenes from the film, and David Newman was conducting the orchestra, because so much of those films were composed by either Randy or Thomas.
Right.
So to see him conducting his family, his brother and his cousin's work was really special.
That's freaking awesome.
I love the Donald Duck orange juice.
Also, shout out to the fact that he has a Wolfman cup.
Uh-huh.
Amazing.
Daniel Stern looks so young.
I know. Well, I mean, you almost don't believe he could be a parent at this point in this. And it's so funny because he did a lot of family films. Like, almost his entire career is full of doing stuff like this.
I mean, he would have been about 27 at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm such a big fan of him, man.
He hasn't done anything in a while that I can think of.
I mean, he did quite a bit of direct-to-video work type stuff.
Yeah, like Christmas Story 2.
Yep. Speaking of family films.
They made a Christmas Story 2?
Straight to video. He did the Hulu show Shrill. That's A.D. Bryant's show.
Oh, right.
He's on like 8 or 9 episodes of that.
I just was catching up on SNL, speaking of A.D. Bryant.
I am excited for Mulaney hosting. I think when he hosts, it's like, oh, he's back.
Look at this Sparky.
Oh.
This dog looks so not bothered by the fact that it clearly had like stuff glued to its neck and not bothered at all.
He's like, I'm eating, I'm on film. Works for me.
My corgis, on the other hand, would be having a conniption fit.
The water coming out of his neck. That's so cute.
Aww.
A boy and his dog, man.
Any movie that's like a boy or a man and his dog gets me. Like,
Yeah.
I know people weren't necessarily thrilled with Call of the Wild this year,
I really like
but
Call of the Wild.
it got me, man. Harrison Ford and his dog, it got me.
Yeah. Oh, he was in Whip It also. That's a good call, Kale. Franco says he's the dad in Little Monsters with Fred Savage.
Is Little Monsters that big purple monster thing with the chain? Or am I thinking of something else?
I think you're thinking the right thing.
Okay.
I love the sort of POV cinematography this film uses.
Mhm.
As if the camera is like strapped to the dog, like a GoPro almost, which obviously did not exist in 1984.
No.
But
Also, this is so clearly shot in Los Angeles, by the way.
oh yeah,
And whereas the animated one
not
takes
even
place
Los Angeles, but like Burbank.
Yeah. I mean, it's just very obviously shot in a...
Oh, look at the doxy. Oh, I have a doxy. Oh,
It's Oswald.
Oswald's a long hair, but still, look at him. Raymond. Oh.
Yeah, Mike's right. Call of the Wild was charming as fuck. I completely agree.
I have issues with it. I think the CGI of the dog didn't look great, and Dan Stevens is like acting as if he's in a totally different film.
Oh, yeah.
But I enjoyed it, and I've actually listened to the score a lot this year. John Powell is so great.
You know, it's so funny. I very rarely don't like a Dan Stevens performance. That was like the one time I did not like a Dan Stevens performance.
I didn't think it was a bad performance. It was just a performance for a totally different film.
Yeah. Oh, who's that Shug? Let's get ready to talk Schmodowns in the house right now.
What's up?
Daniel Stern was in the TV series Manhattan.
Oh, about the Manhattan Project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in the plastic.
Run, Sparky, run!
I love that name, Sparky.
So great.
He tried to kill. No, he did not.
What I find so utterly fascinating about watching this is how evident Timmy Burton's vision and aesthetic was from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like, I know we've talked before about how he's like almost in some films like overdone it so much that he's become a parody of himself. But it's rare for a filmmaker to have such a strong vision from the get-go and successfully recreate it and use it in so many different films.
Yeah, totally.
Like Wes Anderson, I think, is that way.
Tarantino.
Yeah.
Barry Sonnenfeld, who we've talked a lot about.
Sure. And not saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing. You know, there are other filmmakers who have like, you know, things that are consistent to them, but are able to also explore other genres like Spielberg, for example. But Tim Burton, the hairstyles, the clothing, the way that the sets are dressed, it's just so consistent through his whole career.
Yeah. The relationship here, by the way, between them, their neighbor and them is so different than it is in the movie, which I find fascinating.
Well, when you're taking a short concept and featurizing it, you need to build more narrative drama.
No, totally. I just find it fascinating. And then, of course, I like that character a lot because it's so true to how we see people react to things where they overreact to things, right?
Wow. He's also, I think, in Mars Attacks. I think he is.
The neighbor?
That guy.
What's going on, Ferris?
He actually looks like his dad. They both look related.
He is in Mars Attacks. You're right.
Ferris,
like the vice president or something.
Ferris stopped by to see if we were watching the movie yet. By the time he comes back, then the feature-length film will probably be over. Knowing Ferris
this is a great example of a director like establishing their visual aesthetic very early on in David Fincher. I think Fincher's experimented in different things. but I also think he's one of the greatest filmmakers of our generation.
I would say even Alien 3 to a point is very distinctly a David Fincher film,
Right.
even if it's not taken away from him.
Even Benjamin Button, which is, for him a very different kind of film, has his visual language. I am so beyond excited to watch Mank next month.
Me too, dude. It's been so long since we had a Fincher film because the last one was Gone Girl,
which, in my opinion, has only gotten better with age.
Yeah.
I watched that movie in March or April, and it still knocked me off my feet.
It's so interesting you say that, too, because it's so Fight Club-esque, and I think it's the better version of Fight Club in what a lot of what it's trying to say, which has made it get better.
I love Fight Club quite a bit. I don't love
around it.
The fandom necessarily. I feel similarly about American Psycho. There are, not to cast aspersions or generalize, but there are groups of people who love these films that take the wrong message from it, in my opinion. Look at her. Look at these hairstyles. Her hairstyle. It's obviously a wig, but I just love it. And with the dark, thick glasses, I couldn't agree more. People are very weird.
I wonder why he didn't have Daniel Stern come back to do the voice of the father in the movie.
I was actually just going to ask, did Daniel ever work with Tim Burton? Again, I cannot recall off the top of my head.
Mars Attacks.
What was that?
Mars Attacks, because Tim Burton directed Mars Attacks, right?
No, Tim Burton's not in Mars Attacks. The guy who plays the neighbor is.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about Daniel Stern.
Yeah, Daniel Stern.
Yeah, so if we're talking about if he worked with Tim Burton again, because Tim Burton directed Mars Attacks.
No, we're talking about the neighbor.
But Daniel Stern is not in. Daniel Stern is not in Mars Attacks.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got mixed up.
Well,
that's okay.
The neighbor and Daniel Stern do kind of look alike. They have a similar quality. I thought that was his grandfather when I first saw him.
You know what's the Daniel Stern movie I love that I recently got on Blu-ray that I used to watch a lot as a kid is Celtic Pride.
Oh, dude, I loved that. Dan Aykroyd.
Celtic Pride.
Yeah, him, Dan Aykroyd, and Damon Wayans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that movie growing up. I need to pick it up. I haven't gotten it yet. These people are overreacting to a dog.
Totally overreacting. But I think that's the point of the movie, and because that's the point of Frankenstein.
Right.
People immediately misunderstand things they view as monstrous before getting to know them.
Yep.
You can't judge a book by its cover.
Oh, Sparky.
Imagine if they adapted him running into a blind person.
Oh, God.
That would be that one of the best scenes in Young Frankenstein is Gene Hackman.
Yeah. One of his early roles.
Yeah. And he did it for free. Young Frankenstein has to be on the docket next year.
Dude, I love Young Frankenstein. I think it's one of the all-time great comedies. Cam said she went to the Mars Attack premiere at the LCAP. That is awesome.
Mars Attack is one of the best casts ever.
Michael J. Fox?
Yeah, Michael J. Fox, Jack Nicholson in a dual role.
Danny DeVito, Pierce Brosnan, Glenn Close.
Yeah. That is a campy, great, fun movie.
Oh, I love it.
I love that they're at a mini golf course, but it looks so perfect for this sort of Universal Monsters sort of finale.
Always at a
absolutely.
Windmill. In fact, the windmill comes back at Sleepy Hollow on Friday. So
it also comes back in Frankenweenie, which we're about to watch.
Yep.
I love windmills.
I do too. And they don't kill birds frequently, by the way, whether our president likes to say that or not.
What happens when there's no wind?
Right. And they also don't cause cancer. I would just like that noted.
There's I used to visit Palm Desert and Palm Springs a lot when I was younger on spring break, and when you drive there are so many windmills, and I find it so beautiful and peaceful.
I drive through it every time I come back up to and from Los Angeles now.
There's some beautiful shots in Tenet of water windmills.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The angry villagers. It's such a great, Frankenstein riff.
Yeah.
Oh, he fell. Oh no, Daniel Stern.
Oh, that dog is so cute.
He's such a sweet boy.
Yeah, Sparky's a good dog. Burton would work with anyone in the 90s because at the time he was also a hot commodity. Like everyone wanted to also work with Burton.
Sparky saves him.
That's because Sparky's a good boy.
Yep. I think it's interesting that Burton was never nominated for Best Director at the Oscars.
Whoa, that's awesome, Brandy. Did you like it? I'm very curious.
I think if anything, he should have been nominated for Big Fish.
Agreed. I also think he could have he could have gotten a nomination for Ed Wood also.
Wait,
Yeah,
Big Fish never got a nomination?
No.
Oh, that's weird.
Big Fish only got one Oscar nomination for the score. It got a ton of BAFTA nominations and Golden Globe nominations.
That's honestly a crime. That movie is.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Cam's like, I'm off to watch Big Brother and The Bachelorette, but she's going to keep us streaming. And then she said she streamed with Bateman. Then you guys, and we make her feel included, supported, and this is a fun and awesome community. We're glad you feel supported.
Just want to note, Cam, that this is the first year that I stopped watching Big Brother before it finished because I was so bored and annoyed by the cast. Yeah, Burton is nominated for animated feature for both Corpse Bride and Frankenweenie. And I would almost argue maybe he should have won for Frankenweenie because Brave won that year, and I feel like that was sort of
I agree with you.
It's Pixar, so
I 100% agree with you. Brandy loved Young Frankenstein, by the way, on her first watch today.
Good.
I love.
It's one of the best comedies ever.
Gene Wilder, to me, is one of the great.
Yeah.
Oh, Sparky.
Good boy, Sparky. That dog did not want to play dead any longer than it had to.
No.
It was like, I want attention.
Oh, it looks like the Bride of Frankenstein with the hair. It's so cute. A little poodle.
And Cam, we love you, so thank you for coming and hanging out with us always. We love seeing you here. Oh, now suddenly you all like Sparky. Look at how happy he is. And that ending. So that all
right, here's the deal. So the year Frankenweenie was nominated for animated feature, Paranorman also was, and Wreck-It Ralph, and the Pirates Band of Misfits, and I honestly feel any four of those would have been a better choice than Brave. And I like Brave.
I like Brave too, but I agree with you.
I think Brave won off of politics.
No, it won because it was Pixar.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah,
I would bet a good majority of Academy voters, especially the older ones, don't even watch the animated films.
It's just Pixar.
I hate to say how true that is, but it's 100% accurate.
Did Cars 2 win?
No. Okay. What a beautiful short film that is. Yeah. Like I was saying, I think Tim's visual language and aesthetic was so clear and accomplished from the beginning. It hits every note it has to. It's emotional. It's well shot. The performances are strong, and the music's fantastic.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's such a calling card for everything he would become known for. But also, it's just like it's got such a big heart. And I think that even in the films that I don't love from Burton, I think he does try to find the heart in things. Like I didn't love Dark Shadows, but I think he tried to find heart in the middle of that, almost too much maybe for its own good. And I think that this just proved that out the gate, he was always going to be a talent that I would look forward to watching. And I always enjoy watching that short. It just gives me like such hope for young filmmakers. You forget that they all start doing with shorts like this, and then you get to see them blow up. Look at Patrick Hogue. Like we talk about his shorts and stuff all the time. He's an incredibly talented filmmaker. I would love to think that maybe one day he gets to do that. Guy? Yeah, that guy right there.
His own trading card, yeah.
Yeah. But look, man, it's a great short.
Yeah. All right. What do you think of it, Chris? Have you seen it before?
I've seen it before. I've not seen the feature-length film. So
oh, great.
Cool. Yeah. But yeah. I don't expect any jump scares, so I'll just watch it with you guys and talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cute. It tells a very basic story, but I mean the story is very engaging. I don't see how it cost $1 million though. I don't know how it did.
Well,
But
I think they shot
It's well
clearly.
shot.
They
Yeah,
shot it on film, and so that's expensive. They had to get the locations.
I get you. And I guess the actors, like you got the person from the kid from Neverending Story, so that's probably and Shelley's probably expensive at the time. So, yeah, I mean it's cute, and it's a great retelling of Frankenstein. I wonder like does the movie like expand upon the Frankenstein stuff? Do we get more scenes?
Oh yeah.
Oh, do we get the well scene with the flowers?
Well, we're about to watch it.
Yes.
All right. We're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
We're going to play a commercial for the upcoming charity stream that Chris and our channel is a part of. I'm going to use the bathroom, and we'll be back with the live action, the animated Frankenweenie in like 3 or 4 minutes.
And then again, if you want to get on the watch party on Disney Plus, it is in the description below.
I think there's
a couple of us.
1 or 2 more slots left. I think you can have up to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think there's 2 slots left if you want to join the watch party. In the YouTube description, and if you're in the YouTube checking out the description, give the video a like as well. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, see you guys in a few minutes.
Ben? 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 Ben!
Oh, right. Announcement time.
On November 7th, Ben, myself, as well as a few other close friends will be joining forces together, online through Discord. Not exactly a safe idea to be all gathered up now, is it? Anyway, Ben, you want to tell them this year's theme?
But of course, this year we are celebrating Pac-Man's 40th anniversary with Pac-Man Fever.
And that's it. We're just going to be playing the Buckner and Garcia song for 24 hours straight.
No, we're not. We will be spending the whole event playing a bunch of Pac-Man games. Yes, there's more than just a classic arcade lineup, believe it or not. You have games like Pac-Man World, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures, Pac-Land, Pac-Attack.
2-pack?
No, John. No. As always, we'll be raising money for CHOP, the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, helping children in need, and in this year especially, they really need it. This year's major incentive prize will be a Pac-Man 40th Anniversary arcade machine. Look at this thing!
That thing is a beaut. I want one for myself, damn it.
It's a minimum $50 donation. It will be limited to North American residents only. I know, kind of a change of how we usually do things, but to make up for it, we will also be giving away a Nintendo Switch. A minimum $25 donation, and everyone's eligible for that.
You can live in
I want to win a
Pac-Land and we'll
Nintendo
somehow
Switch.
get it to you. And as always, we're not alone for this adventure. You got myself, Ben, and my uncle, and my family from SGB returning from some laughs, but we also got some guests, including, but not limited to, Chris Clark from the PJ Campbell Network.
I know
my
him.
co-hosts Nathan, Dan, and Pat from Console Wars, The Pituation from WMMR, Tony Pearson, Dean DeFalco from Geek Aid, Kelly from Florida, The Mad Hatter from Radio Bucks, King K, and a bunch of others if they answer their voicemails. That's November 7th starting at noon EST and ending the next day at noon EST, and it's not in the middle of daylight savings time ending this year. Oh my god, this year is saved. And as before, it will be simulcast on YouTube and Twitch, covering both bases there. It's Pac-Man Fever for Extra Life's game day. Come on down and watch a yellow dude and his girlfriend gobble a whole bunch of balls.
Wow, that was such an awkward place for... right, let's see if I can talk this time before Chris cuts me off with another video clip or something random like that.
What up? What up? What
Oh,
up?
hey. So you missed it. As you were gone, Chris had the video very awkwardly edited where it literally ended with Pac-Man gobbling up balls with Miss Pac-Man, and then it literally cut to Chris and I sitting staring at the camera.
The last time that video played, I believe the first thing I said is about gobbling balls.
So
watch
know,
Box
Box
Sorry about
Box. Go watch Box Box. But hey, welcome back, guys.
Welcome back. We took a little break, a little commercial break. Thanks to our sponsors, Tide, and all the others.
Starbucks, Dutch Bros, Dunkin' Donuts.
For some reason, I could not think of a single other
Trojan.
brand in that moment.
Trojan.
Ooh. Don't be a fool. Wrap your tool.
Yeah. So, guys, we're happy to have you here. Obviously, we just watched the Frankenweenie short film. Now, guess what we're going to do? We're going to watch the full-length animated stop-motion Frankenweenie film, because what better way to round out Scary Movie Squad for the kids than this stop-motion version of Frankenweenie? I'm very excited. I don't know about you guys. I love the short. I like this movie even more.
I'm excited to see what they add.
That it is better.
It's
Yeah,
better? Okay. It doesn't feel like a Hobbit and it padded?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
And the voice cast, I mean, we'll get into it, but Catherine O'Hara, Martin Short, Martin Landau,
Winona Ryder.
Atticus Schaefer from The Middle.
Yeah, so many great people in this movie. Again, I find it interesting that he didn't have Daniel Stern come back. But
maybe he tried. Who knows? I don't know.
It could also be studio politics.
I mean, Martin Short is probably more famous,
right? So, but with that, I think that's enough talking out of us. We already started this thing a little bit late. This is a pretty short film, so it's going to be over pretty fast. So I'm going to count down from 5. As soon as I say go, I'm going to hit play. Everyone inside the watch party will get started along with us. If you're not in the watch party, hit play as soon as I say go. You'll be on the same time code with us, and I am super excited to watch one of my favorite Tim Burton films with you guys, Frankenweenie. And we're going to start that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So we were having tech issues before this started, and I'd played this clip a few times over because we were trying to get the watch party to work properly at one point. This opening of Wish Upon a Star is just so good, and I started whistling it just as we were sitting here. But I also love this. This is my favorite Disney castle, at least one of, that changed to the black and white, creating like the monster version of the Disney logo. Oh, and that music too, the organ.
Mm-hmm. Is that the intro also for Nightmare Now?
Maybe.
I think it is.
It starts out so similar.
Yeah, I mean almost exactly the same. Except there's no friends with him, as you'll see. It's just his parents. God, dude, stop motion is just so beautiful. The very Tim Burton-esque version of it.
And this is actual stop motion, not animated stop motion?
Actual stop motion.
Yeah.
Good. Disney's a studio that can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see it. I have a Sparky right there, like right behind me. It's a Comic-Con Sparky.
The budget on this one was $39 million. So actually, when this movie first came out, Elizabeth had just started working at Disney World. So she was living down there. And we got passes. I went to visit her over a weekend. We got passes to an early screening to see it at the AMC at what was then Downtown Disney and is now Disney Springs. And they gave us all sorts of cool swag. That was really fun.
I was at Comic-Con the year that they brought the first footage. It was that and like Lone Ranger and Hall H. It was really, really cool. And I've always loved it for that. And this was one of the first films I got to cover when I was working in the space, which will always hold a special place in my heart. Brandon says that he made a stop motion short in his film school, and he had to learn to be very patient to do that. What'll Chris do for Christmas? I guess you guys will have to wait and find out. We have all sorts of stuff lined up.
Which we'll be announcing Halloween night.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween night.
Nothing says Christmas like Halloween night.
Yep. I will say
the music here is composed by Danny Elfman. Yeah. And I think it's beautiful.
I just realized we're keeping in the Tim Burton theme too.
Hint, hint.
Yeah,
Well done, Chris.
very small hint. Yeah, sorry.
So what's very interesting is that the relationship with his parents is already very different. His parents weren't worried about him being weird in the short film.
If I turn the subtitles on, will it turn it on for everyone in the watch party?
No, because I already have mine on, so I think it's a user-by-user basis.
Okay. I need subtitles.
I always have subtitles.
When we do the
them.
watch-alongs, I do, yeah. But
Yeah.
for some reason, they weren't on.
This just comes off as like a Tim Burton drawing come to life. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I like about his stop-motion stuff. I think Corpse Bride similarly feels very much like a Tim Burton-esque drawing come to life.
I'm not a huge fan of Corpse Bride from a narrative perspective, but I agree about the art.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you went to the exhibit of his that happened.
No, I didn't get a chance. I would have loved to.
It was actually Liz and I went to it on our first date.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like a
Cool.
long time ago now.
Because, I mean, I know that it came through Anaheim when I was living there.
Yeah, we saw it at
Toto
the
Edwards is
MoMA, and yeah, his art is stunning, and he, like I said, such a consistent visual style. That's Emmy Award winner Catherine O'Hara.
From Home Alone.
Yep.
Yeah, and the script is by John August, which is really interesting. You know, he wrote Big Fish as well, and Corpse Bride.
His name is Burgermeister, as in Burgermeister Meisterburger from Santa Claus is Coming to Town. That's great. Great nod.
Oh, Mike says, fun fact, Corpse Bride was actually Leica's first feature film. I never realized that. Thank you, Mike. I learned something new tonight.
Oh, did they do the animation on it?
I guess so.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that until Mike told us.
Huh. One of the reasons they might not have used Daniel Stern is Martin Short does multiple voices. Like he plays the dad and he's also playing Mr. Burgermeister here.
Oh,
Sure.
He is. Oh.
And he also plays a couple other characters in the film. I think he does like 3 or 4 different, three voices at least.
Brandy says she always has her captions on, and then Brandon says it helps me understand movies better, to be honest, having captions on. I respect that.
Yeah, Catherine O'Hara does a couple different voices too. The teacher is voiced by the great Martin Landau.
Martin Landau, I can
Yep.
tell. Yeah.
It's one.
And this character, I think you could very clearly see, is inspired by Vincent Price.
Yeah, very clearly.
This would definitely be Vincent if he was still alive.
I think so.
His last film was Edward Scissorhands.
Mm-hmm.
I love the design of this character.
He looks like Igor from Nightmare Before Christmas.
A little bit.
Yep.
I think stop motion is one of the most beautiful and underappreciated art forms.
Yes.
Like,
I agree with you.
I wish it came
Period.
back. 'Cause a lot of the best movies were that.
well, that's why I love Leica so much.
Mm-hmm. Box Trolls is so excellent. If you guys have not seen Box Trolls, please check it out.
Kubo and the 2 strings.
Yep.
I wasn't a huge fan of their newest one, Missing Link, but the stop motion was stunning.
I still haven't seen Missing Link. I really need to.
Yeah.
I would give it another shot.
It's made by the creators of Wallace and Gromit, right?
No, Missing Link was Leica.
Oh.
The Pirates Band of Misfits.
Is fun as hell.
Hilarious.
And
I love that movie.
And I don't know if you guys remember this, but Chicken Run is great.
Of course,
too.
they're working on a sequel, supposedly.
They
Chicken
are.
Run?
It's going to be a Netflix film. It's
But
official.
I think the one you were thinking of, Chris, is Early Man.
Oh, okay.
It's decent. That was by the Aardman guys.
Yeah,
Were you saying Chicken Run's going to get a sequel?
it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be a
Oh, God,
Netflix movie.
that's
It's
great.
been. I love all the characters in this are very obviously homages to very specific characters and actors from horror films.
Yep.
This is obviously Boris Karloff from The
Wednesday.
Mummy.
That's Wednesday.
I love that design very, very much. I think that it's very, very cool.
Windmill.
Mm-hmm.
I love the
Foreshadowing,
Sparky
probably.
design, especially. I just think it's
I
so
think it's
awesome.
design-
Sparky looks like a corgi. A little bit.
A little bit.
He has a wiggly butt.
He looks like he could be like Dipper. Dipper's like sitting next to me sleeping. He couldn't care less about what we're doing.
Oh, is this Bride of Frankenweenie?
Bride of Franken. Dude, they should make a sequel called Bride of Frankenweenie.
I agree.
I would
And then-
watch the shit out of that movie.
And then Papa Frankenweenie.
Oh.
Aww.
The nose touch is adorable.
Oh, yep, it's Bride of Frankenweenie. That's our
I love the
patron
shot
thumbnail.
so much.
Yeah.
The way it transitions to the ringing bell is great.
Mm-hmm. Reefism said this was the first Martin Landau film that they ever saw was Ed Wood. I
Martin
don't know what mine
Landau
was.
and Ed Wood is incredible. I think his performance is one of the greats.
Yeah.
I also love Martin Landau in Rounders.
Oh, he's fantastic in that. Now I have to see which was probably what
that
was
cat
mine.
is so cute.
So this is Winona Ryder doing the voice of a child.
Oh, I know what mine was. Probably mine was North by Northwest. And that's who? I'm sorry, Maxwell. I didn't hear
Winona
you.
Ryder
Oh, that
doing the
checks.
voice of a child.
Yeah.
And her character is named Elsa Van Helsing.
Yep. Speaking of Van Helsing, I watched all the Hotel Transylvania movies today.
Yeah, I like those.
How do they stack up?
I'd only seen the first two. I hadn't seen the third one until today. I really like the first two.
I think the third one's my favorite, actually.
It's my second favorite, I think. I really like it. But I think that the second and third could really, fight for that position. I think they're both very good for very different reasons.
Is the first one not as good as the other two?
I think
I like it.
It's funny because they're studio films with like Sandler and all his buddies, but they're directed by a guy who's sort of like a genius animator.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the second two, after the success of the first, he was given a little more freedom to express his style.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing I like about the first is it's such a love letter to the Universal monsters specifically. Kind of similarly to this film, I think this is a love letter to all of horror. So they actually make a very interesting double feature in that regard. The fact that it says no death rays on the school report means that someone somewhere along the way made a death ray at the school.
I mean, this character is clearly supposed to be like the Igor character.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, his name is Edgar Gore, so Igor, which is pretty clever.
Which actually, Igor was never the name of the Hunchback in Frankenstein. Wasn't it like Franz or Fritz or something? And Igor is who Bela Lugosi played in The Son of Frankenstein. I don't know. You would probably know better than I would, PJ, but I think that's what it was.
Repeat yourself. I'm sorry, Christopher.
The actual Igor in the Universal films was not the assistant to Frankenstein, and he only appeared in Son of Frankenstein as like a hunchback played by Bela Lugosi.
I want to say you're correct. You're correct. Yes. Let me look.
Because I remember the hunchback that gets hung in Frankenstein. That's his assistant is named Franz or Fritz or something.
Yeah, I want to say
used to tell me that. Yeah,
you're 100% accurate. I'm almost positive.
It's a weird thing because usually in pop culture you think of Igor as like in Young Frankenstein, but that was never the case.
Yeah. Yeah, so the one in the original film was Fritz.
Fritz, yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't until later that you actually really meet him.
It's interesting how certain things end up
In pop
overtaking
culture,
the lexicon or pop culture than other things.
like he never says, "Luke, I am your father." He says, "No, I am your father." That
Right.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Or everyone thinks of Igor, even
Mhm.
though in the original it wasn't Igor.
Nope. Igor was only the name of the hunchback that Bela Lugosi played.
The
What were you saying, Max?
pretty sure the voice of the umpire is also Catherine O'Hara.
Get your head in the game. Get your.
No, that is the wrong movie, Chris.
I'm just also glad that the voice of Toshiaki is actually a Japanese actor.
What's up, Ferris? Well, it's so what I like about that character being here, and obviously, what's up, Jake? Live on Salad. That is correct.
Yeah.
That character being here is such a clear part of him loving kaiju films, which is obviously explored towards the end of the film. And I love that for it. Again, this is a love letter to all of horror in a way that a lot of movies don't necessarily do.
Is she designed after the girl in Beetlejuice? Because her hair looks like it.
Which girl in Beetlejuice?
The main girl in Beetlejuice. I forget her name, but her
Lydia?
hair.
Lydia's?
Yeah.
Probably.
Because I think.
I mean, it is a Tim Burton film.
I'm excited about the kaiju thing you just said.
Yeah, it's a nice hint, right?
I love the cat. He's so cute.
The cat is a Chris Clark cat. I'll tell you what.
It's a big fat cat. Cute.
I love Sparky. Okay, I gotta say, Mom, what are you doing? You just sit there. You don't even try to grab the dog. Come on, Mom.
Oh no.
Oh,
So they do the
no.
same exact shot in the short, which I thought was interesting, like
No,
the same angle
no.
here.
No, I can't.
Look
They don't
away,
get-
Maxwell.
They don't
You also get to spend more time with Sparky before, so you have a stronger.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh
God,
okay.
the way the baseball hits the curb like that.
Oh no. That pain.
God, his yell breaks me.
That would be anybody in that situation.
God, this shot too of them on the hill is so beautiful.
Poor Sparky.
Patty says she thinks it was actually Rodan that was used in Victor's mini movie. That could be true, actually.
No, that was Rodan. Yeah.
Was it? I had never
Yep.
noticed that actually.
It is Rodan. Yep.
That's awesome. I like it even more. Maxwell, I love you. God, they really lay it on, like everyone missing Sparky. Oh, those pictures. The one of Sparky with the birthday cake makes me so happy. God damn it, Ferris. They John Wick that dog. That's fucked up. Yeah. I'll say this. Victor doesn't have to kill everyone because they killed the dog, though.
He should.
He should, probably, but...
Forgive me if I'm wrong. If you, like, hit a pet, could you get, like, in trouble with the authorities with that?
I don't think so. I mean, if you do it on purpose, yes.
Okay.
I mean, they could probably try and sue the driver in civil court.
Yeah. And you might be able to get payment for whatever in that moment.
I don't know. If I was that driver, I would be like, you know what? I feel really bad. He probably would have felt really bad. I'm assuming it's not explored in the film, so maybe he did feel bad.
This little montage of Sparky.
Oh,
He's such a good.
at least we know. Spoiler alert: he's gonna come back to life. See, there's Rodan.
Yeah, I never really noticed that was Rodan before.
Yep.
I just assumed it was a pterodactyl of some sort.
And did that say Bates Motel? Or did that say hotel? I don't know.
It could have said Bates, and I wouldn't have been shocked, to be honest with you. Again, lots of nods to a lot of different horror films and stuff that were a big deal on him. Even similar, he's working on The Notebook.
Sparky. He'd be great at Drawful. Yeah.
Mike says, from an emotional perspective, this story works better as a feature film than a short. I agree. Kale says, not to have a critical hat here, but the moment Victor steps more into his father's boy normative narrative, Sparky dies, just something interesting to think about. I mean, I think that's part of the point, right? I think that it's very clear that he leaning in on the thing that he didn't necessarily want was the thing that took the thing he wanted away from him.
Rover.
Bubbles, Fluffy.
I feel like these names mean something.
Well, Bubbles was the very first tombstone you saw in Frankenweenie, the short film, too.
Yeah, I know that. Rover was the first canine movie star.
Nice young critter.
Bubbles.
Goodbye, Kitty, instead of hello, Kitty. That's amazing. I don't think I ever noticed that until today.
Bubbles is Michael Jackson's pet chimpanzee.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other one?
I don't remember at this point. Goodbye, Kitty made me laugh, though.
Oh.
Reefism said, when I was a kid, we had a cat that had passed away. We never had a pet again. Too heartbreaking. I don't know what a world without pets feels like. I've gone through my own heartbreak with pets in the past. One of those cases very well documented on the internet. But I think the heartbreak is also worth it for the time that I get to spend personally. Yeah, Kirk. Thank you, Maxwell.
Yeah.
He's our boy. The channel logo.
Kirk.
Christopher Lee's cameo is so good, by the way.
I love that it's actual,
Footage.
live action footage.
Yeah.
Whew. This movie gets me, man.
I know, dude. I'm glad that I watched it last week before we decided to do this, because it's helped me remember what I was getting into.
This might be overthinking it, but maybe stop motion in that world is live action. So maybe, in this world, live action is stop motion. So I wonder how they created that in this world. That's cool to think about.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't smell the dog's carcass.
I love the shadow in the background. Like, that's so good.
Mhm.
They did such a great job shooting this.
It gives me Little Shop vibes a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And again, Little Shop specifically is also kind of a love letter to, B-50 cereals and stuff.
Just the lightning and the shadow on the wall. You could see Mushnick like peering through the... Yeah. It's that vibe.
A Tim Burton stop motion Addams Family movie would look dope.
And you still haven't seen the animated one yet, right?
No, I have not yet. I really need to.
Oh, yeah.
I like that he kept the bat, though, Maxwell.
Yeah. What is this guy's problem?
He's the mayor of the city or the town, and he's just a douchebag.
Oh, I get that.
He's one of those people who feels like he has to have his nose in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised, like, he's like if you've ever seen Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Burgermeister Meisterburger's the same exact character.
Totally.
I don't think that's a coincidence either. That's straight from the short.
Mm-hmm.
Those swirly things look like the hypnotic umbrella that Penguin has.
I think this film is the most 2010s Tim Burton doing 1980s, 1990s Tim Burton, but it's the one where it works the most because it doesn't feel as self-indulgent to the point of mockery like Alice in Wonderland.
But visually, there's a lot of Batman Returns and Edward Scissorhands in this.
Uh-huh. No, totally. Again, that's why I said like 80s, 90s Burton, but in a less self-indulgent sort of way.
Yeah.
There's so much in the short that was left in this sequence that I love, down to the deer. This movie, by the way, if you guys never got to see it in 3D, was awesome.
I think I saw it in 3D. I found animation to be the most successful.
Me too.
3D.
Their worlds work the best, I feel like, in 3D. You get a lot out of it. Reefism says I haven't... go ahead, Macro.
Specifically counter the dimming effect of the glasses.
Yes, absolutely. Reefism says I haven't seen the Christopher Lee Dracula film yet. I really recommend checking out some of those Christopher Lee Hammer horror films.
There's like
20, right?
20 of them or something.
There's quite a few. He did quite a few in the same way that Peter Cushing did quite a few Frankenstein films for Hammer horror around the same time.
And they did a lot together.
Mm-hmm. Kale says, did you guys know that Burton almost got to make Jurassic Park? Part of me isn't shocked, but so did James Cameron. He was real close to buying the rights, and he missed out by like a weekend over Spielberg. There was a lot of people who wanted to work on that movie.
I wonder if it would have been CGI or if he would have done stop motion dinosaurs.
I don't know. Sparky's so cute, you guys.
Aww. Sparky. Oh,
Oh, he's so cute though.
now he looks like a corgi.
Yeah, no tail. Now he's a corgi for
Now he's
sure.
a corgi.
He is alive. That is correct, Ferris. Mike says Burton Jurassic Park would have been fascinating. I don't disagree with that. I'm glad that Cameron didn't do it. I don't think I would have liked the Jim Cameron Jurassic Park nearly
These
as much as
parents are
the
going to be
Spielberg.
so horrified.
And that's not a dig at Cameron, by the way. I like James Cameron quite a bit as a filmmaker. I just think that Spielberg lends. He wanted to make an R-rated one closer to the book, which I would love to see an R-rated Jurassic Park movie based off the book. But at the same time, I love like the Spielberg Amblin approach to Jurassic Park as well. It's adventurous and fun and has a big heart. I would love some French toast, actually. Chris, you want to go get some French toast when this is over?
Yeah, and they also actually just came out with apple cinnamon Eggos that they discontinued for years, which I'm excited about.
Oh, did they really? That's awesome. Maxwell,
Yeah,
do
that's
you want to go get some French toast after this too?
No.
No?
Oh, no?
How about just breakfast in general? You want to go get breakfast?
Sure.
All right. God, Sparky is just so freaking cute. He sounds like Dipper, too. That's how Dipper acts. Dipper.
He's totally gonna not stay.
Oh, of course he's not. He's a dog. He wants to go explore and adventure. Look at him. That's how I feel when I wake up from a nap, too. Chasing the water spraying out of his body.
That's very well animated.
It is, right?
No, it's a kitty cat. Oh my god! It's so cute!
Oh, Sparky. That's a Chris Clark cat if I've ever seen one. If Chris Clark made a stop motion cat, that would be the cat Chris Clark created.
Yeah. It's so cute.
Can we just say real quick the balls it took Disney to let Tim Burton do not only a stop motion animated film in the 2010s, but one that was also in black and white? Like, I love that. I think that's so cool. The fly comes out of it. Brian asks, where does this film rank in your rankings of Tim Burton's movies? For me, it's in my top 5. It's certainly in my top 5 as well.
I agree.
Yeah. Chris, I know you haven't seen it all the way to the end, so you wouldn't be able to rank it.
Oh, but I've already like it a lot better than a couple of the like. I don't know if you guys ever saw Dark Shadows. I didn't really care for that.
Yeah, it's pretty
No.
terrible.
My feelings on Dark Shadows, if you were bringing it up, is that it felt like a film that was still test screening and never got like edited down in a proper way. That it was very self-indulgent, but it just also had no rhythm and no flow. It needed some nip and tucks a lot, actually. Bizarre movie, man. I thought he was such a great choice for that property. I weirdly used to grow up watching Dark Shadows, like the actual soap opera, because it used to do reruns on Sci-Fi Channel. And so my mom was a big fan of it, and she would put it on. So I had familiarity with the IP, and I thought Burton doing it would be so interesting, and he turned it into something that I was not expecting.
Interesting. And actually, Dark Shadows also, people don't realize, after Dark Shadows, I don't think Burton and Depp worked together. And it's been 8
No.
years since. So.
He definitely cashed those Alice chips. Alice made $1 billion at the box office. He definitely used it for that. Mike K said off the top of his head, his top 5 Burton would be Big Fish at 1, Ed Wood at 2, Frankenweenie at 3, Beetlejuice at 4, and Batman Returns at 5.
Yeah.
That's top 5.
That's a
Yeah,
solid.
it is.
My top 5 would be Batman Returns, Big Fish, Sleepy Hollow. It gets tricky. Nightmare Before Christmas, but that's not Tim Burton.
He didn't
direct
it.
No, I would say Mars Attacks is probably 5, but 4 would probably be, because it's difficult. It's either, I'm going to say Edward Scissorhands. I really like that one. Yeah.
I think my number 1 is Ed Wood.
Ed Wood is it's probably 6 or 7. Yeah.
My number 2. There's so many Burtons that I like. Big Fish would be my number 2.
I'd like none of us mentioned Pee-wee. Oh no, I'm so sorry, Tim, if you're watching still.
That would be Tim's number 1.
Yeah.
My number 3 would probably be Batman 89. I know Returns is the better movie, but 89 just like means the world to me.
Oh, 89 would be in my top 5 yet too. Yeah.
I'd probably put them together, to be honest. I'd cheat, put Returns and 89 and Returns together.
They just go together so well.
Yeah, and then Frankenweenie at 4. Rounding out the top 5, Planet of the Apes. No, his Planet of the Apes is terrible.
I actually kind of like it. I don't know. I really.
I like the art.
It.
I like the makeup. I like the sound design.
I actually like it. Like, I like the movie. I don't know. It's kind of like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I don't see the hate in it. I kind of just like the movie. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think Frankenweenie would be my number. Did I say that was my number 4? So that would make my number 5. Maybe Mars Attacks. Maybe Sleepy Hollow.
Fun.
It's a toss-up between those two.
He has so many quality films.
He does. I think Burton up till 2010 is actually like one of the best solid directors of our time. I mean, I don't even blame him for Planet of the Apes because he was hired to work on that movie. Like, he didn't conceptualize it, you know?
I don't blame him for Planet of the Apes because I like it. Yeah.
No, I know, and I'm glad you like it. I'm glad someone does because, I mean, Chris, I own it still. It's not like I don't own the movie.
Wait till we get to an inevitable Planet of the Apes marathon. It's going to be fun.
See, right there.
Oh, yeah. My favorite's still Battle in the first 2 of the new trilogy. The original is also great as well.
The way he says "I would like to buy a fish" is so creepy. I also love that New Holland has its own like Hollywood sign. So instead of Hollywood, it's New Holland.
Was that Christopher Lee's voice?
Maybe? Question mark. Also, I'm going to shout out Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which I like more than the original. Sweeney Todd is really good too, Mike. That's a great call. His last great film before Frankenweenie. Ferris, why would I own that movie? Come on now. I own it because I'm a completist. I own all the Planet of the Apes films. Planet of the Apes is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Reefism, my top 5 is number 1, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Reefism is now Tim Franco's new favorite person. Number 2, Batman 89. Number 3, Edward Scissorhands. Number 4, Batman Returns. And 5, Big Fish and Sleepy Hollow tied.
Oh, yeah. Brian's
is Beetlejuice, Pee-wee, Corpse Bride, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Frankenweenie. Someone else having Charlie and the Chocolate Factory up there is awesome.
I'll be honest. After seeing the musical of Beetlejuice, I can't really go back to the movie.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't even have it in my top 5. Like, and I really love that movie. We did it. Maxwell and I did a watch along of it. Like, I love Beetlejuice dearly.
It's just the musical is just so good. At some point, we're gonna do it suddenly on that. That's gonna be great. So,
Reefism, are you saying I'm really weird? Because I know I'm really weird. I'm a completist. Maxwell yells at me for being a completist. I own The Mummy 3, and The Mummy 3 is fucking terrible. Like,
I own The Mummy 3 only because it's in the 4K box that I have.
It's the only one I didn't upgrade to 4K. I didn't give it more money than I've already given it at this point.
I didn't own Return, so I got the 4K trilogy set.
Smart. I don't blame you.
That fat kid, it really reminds me of that one kid in Nightmare Before Christmas that gets chased by the toys.
Sure.
That's
similar
literally
design.
him. That's literally him.
I do agree that Big Eyes is also great, Kale.
I've never seen Big Eyes.
I think Big Eyes is actually like one of his last really great movies too. It's very in the line of like Ed Wood and Big Fish, like very different than the stuff that you're used to him doing. Although also I really liked Miss Peregrine's, and none of us have brought that one up. I actually quite liked Miss Peregrine's as a first film in a potential series.
Those books are pretty good.
Are they? I haven't read the books actually. I should check them out. Oh, Maxwell, I started that book, by the way. I'm really enjoying it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're going to love it. I can't wait for the sequel.
Yeah. I love the way that he walks. It looks like a mummy. It's so cool. Lumbering. Yeah, Kale, you're not alone. I've seen all of the Michael Bay Transformers movies in theaters as well.
I have not. I walked out halfway through the 4th one and never saw the 5th.
I saw the 5th at a critic screening. Actually,
the 4th. Not only was the 4th Transformers terrible from what I saw, but I also pretty much hate Mark Wahlberg. So adding him to it was just like, adding more gasoline on a raging fire.
I imagine it was just a bunch of. It just looked like a bunch of things moving around.
Yeah, it was.
I agree. I would love. I think you should do Bride of Frankenweenie.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bride of Frankenweenie would be a brilliant get.
These Universal monster references are great. It makes though the Frankenweenie coming back to life a little less surprising since everybody else is an homage to another monster. If that makes sense, it kind of drowns him out a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense. He lost his invisible piranha.
Oh, Revism said they were quoting Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah. That makes sense. You're weird. I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Wait, were they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
I can fix that.
Did it get paused for a second?
No, I'm still going. Did yours pause?
Mine's paused.
That's odd. I am still going.
I'm playing now, but it was paused for a second.
I am at 46:55. All right, I'm sorry, 41:29, 30, 41:31, 32.
10 seconds behind now somehow.
I'm 10 seconds behind you too.
That's weird. I wonder why group did that.
That's odd. It's all cool. PJ, if you want to just pause for 10 seconds, you should be with us.
That's fine.
It's all good. That was weird.
That is weird. Disney Plus group play, guys. Not the best. I just want that thrown out there.
Yeah, I think it's flawed. I think the Amazon Watch Party is better.
Yeah. This is really well animated.
Yeah, I love this whole thing. It feels like, again, it's kind of a nod to Godzilla in the way that the scientists test a lot of different things, and it kind of feels like the movies where you'd see scientists testing things before things go wrong.
It feels kind of Goonies-ish, too. Goonies.
Yeah.
Like, I could see this being a scene in Goonies, too.
Sure.
Because him being tech-savvy and all that, that's obviously a nod to, like, the kid from Goonies.
She sounds so much like Alice and Janney, but it's not Alice and Janney. I want to say
It's Conchata Farrow, who just passed away.
Yeah, I was going to say it is Conchata Farrow, the late great Conchata Farrow, who just passed away.
She is such a great character actress.
She might be in a movie that we might be doing for Christmas time.
Hmm.
I don't want to confirm nor deny. So this is super interesting to me because this feels very accurate to our time of people like hating scientists and turning against them and stuff.
Yep.
God, the Danny Elfman score in this is so good. Kale's so vague. You're right. It was very vague for a reason. I don't want to give away the stuff that we already have going on for Christmas. You'll find out on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that's Martin Short's voice, though.
I mean, he's a talented voice actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this whole speech. Him calling all of them stupid and primitive just makes me so happy. Dipper, are you afraid of thunder and balloons? Yes. Yes, I am. Yep, I know. They were going to bat for him so hard, and I know that most of these people would look at him like a radical who's poisoning their kids, but man, like, he's not wrong. Being ignorant of science and stuff doesn't make you right. It just makes you ignorant of science.
Sounds very topical.
Exactly. That was my point. Like, especially right now with the stuff going on with COVID and stuff, it's very topical. Aw. Dutch Day. Winona Ryder just being a teenager just feels so funny to me in this still.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say that I'm really glad that we got back on the Winona Ryder's a badass train thanks to things like Stranger Things really putting her back in the limelight, because I've always really liked her.
Yeah.
Shout out to how good she is also in the Adam Sandler film Mr. Deeds.
I was just thinking that.
Isn't that movie fun, man? Like, I like that movie.
It is pretty fun.
Knowing too much is the
This
problem.
is also Catherine O'Hara doing the teacher.
That doesn't surprise me. So she was also the umpire too, then, because
It's the same character, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say same character. Are there other directors who use the same film composer? I mean, a lot of them. Spielberg obviously famously uses Williams for everything that he can.
For everything he can, not everything.
Yeah,
'Cause
everything. Bridge of Spies.
Thomas Newman did Bridge of Spies.
And Silvestri did Ready Player One. And
Yeah.
who did Color Purple?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Quincy Jones?
I don't know.
I'll look.
Damien, I mean, he hasn't made that many films, but so far Damien Chazelle has used the same composer. Barry Jenkins and Nicholas Bertel. I would say Ryan Johnson has used his cousin for everything except for Star Wars, obviously, because John Williams does Star Wars.
Yeah. Trying to think of any others that I can think of off the top of my head of filmmakers who generally go back to the same person. Snyder uses Tyler Bates and Hans Zimmer quite a bit.
Nolan used Hans Zimmer for everything up until Tenet.
Right.
Which is done by Ludwig Göransson.
Oh, which Kale just brought up, Ryan Coogler and Ludwig. I think a lot of directors and composers start to work together because they get each other's work, and I think that makes for a stronger film altogether if you do that. So I think it's very important that they do stuff like that. So the Burton-Elfman thing has always made sense. They just mesh together. Zemeckis and Silvestri is a really great call, Mike.
Did Silvestri score The Witches?
I don't know if he did The Witches, but he definitely did The Walk.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to The Walk score a ton. That score is beautiful.
That's the last good movie Zemeckis made.
Oh, Brandy, welcome back. She said, my cat is no longer sleeping on my hands. I can chat again. We're happy to have you back.
Yeah, well, Fincher has used them since 2010 at least, but that's only been 2 films.
Yeah.
And they did Mank, so.
Did they do Gone Girl?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Social Network, Gone Girl, and Girl with Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, yeah,
So
Girl with
4.
the Dragon Tattoo and now Mank, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about Girl with Dragon Tattoo for some reason.
It's easy to not, and I don't mean that.
He's done a lot for them, but I don't think everything. Because Mark Mothersbaugh did Steve Zissou.
Steven Sommers with Silvestri, yes and no, because Jerry Goldsmith did The Mummy.
A lot of Scorsese films don't have scores.
Yeah.
But he does not always work with the same composer, no. And Tarantino, most of his films, if not none of his films, have a score. It's all needle drops.
Yeah.
Scorsese's mostly needle drops too. Some of them have scores. Like Departed has a very good score by Howard Shore.
While also having great needle drop moments throughout. That's one of his best soundtracks. I love that we're going down this. Carpenter frequently did a lot of his own scores with a co-composer. Similarly, Rodriguez scored all of his own movies for the most part. What an interesting topic now. Now I'm just like off in my own world thinking about it.
J.J. Abrams works with Michael Giacchino a lot.
Yep. This reveal is so perfect, by the way, of Sparky being alive.
We didn't really get this in the short.
No. Because, remember, in the short, they knew about him almost right away.
Here's a really good one. Pedro Almodovar has always worked with Alberto Iglesias.
Oh, nice. That is a good one. That's a really good one. And I guess Peter Jackson, obviously, would be with Howard Shore.
Paul Thomas Anderson worked with John Bryan a lot, and then since There Will Be Blood, he's only worked with Johnny Greenwood.
Chris Columbus for a while with John Williams. That's a good call, Kale.
Antonioni worked with Giovanni Fusco for most of his stuff.
So this is such a different thing. And again, this was kind of what I was saying, comparative to the short versus this. Oh, go ahead, Maxwell.
I was just saying Darren Aronofsky and Clint Mansell.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when you take something that's short and adapt it longer, it feels fluffed or stuffed. Right. But I really think in this film, it just expands the emotional texture and the relationships.
No, totally. I agree with you. And I think it's done brilliantly here. his relationship with his parents and the lack of friends, plays a big part in what it became, and I think it's just so brilliantly handled.
I think the design and animation of this festival is incredible.
It's remarkable.
Oh yeah, John Avildsen, who did like Rocky and Karate Kid and all that stuff, always worked with Bill Conti.
Yep, that's true. Those Rocky scores by Conti are just next level great. I could listen to those forever.
Mm-hmm.
Alita did have Junkie XL as well. That's true, Kale.
I like Alita.
I like Alita a lot.
I'd be super down for a sequel.
That's the bike from Pee-wee. That's great.
Yep.
Luc Besson has worked with Eric Serra for most of his stuff.
Who? Oh yeah.
This looks like Children of the Corn kind of thing.
Uwe Boll has worked with someone named Jessica de Roige for most of his films.
What a pool.
Kenneth Branagh always works with Patrick Doyle.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Everything from Henry V to Hamlet to Thor, Jack Ryan, Cinderella, all of them. Even Artemis Fowl.
Yeah, Kale brought up Coppola. Yes and no. Like, I mean, Coppola has also famously gone back and gotten rid of his dad's score from some of his movies. The Outsiders specifically, he was not a fan of the score and hated that he had to take out the stuff he wanted to do. So in the complete novel version that's on Blu-ray, he got rid of a lot of that score in favor of doing like surf rock and stuff like that. He felt like it fit the movie better.
Cameron worked with James Horner a lot.
Yeah. We all love James Horner here.
I love this.
This is brilliant, by the way. And kind of interestingly, in the same way we've been talking about everything that this movie does as a love letter to horror, the thing I like about this is the rest of them messing
not just horror, but in particular, like classic Universal monster movies and stuff.
Yeah.
The Coen brothers have almost exclusively worked with Carter Burwell.
That's a good one.
They worked with T-Bone Burnett to produce songs for like "Oh Brother Where Art Thou" and Llewyn Davis, but Carter Burwell.
Right.
Fascinating.
What a deep dive of a conversation that is absolutely worth having. There's so much to unpack.
Wes Craven worked with Marco Beltrami in the second half of his career, starting with Scream.
Yeah.
All the way through
shot of
Scream 4.
I think that Shelley one is a nod to Shelley Duvall.
David Cronenberg almost exclusively worked with Howard Shore from 1979 through 2014.
I like that you're literally pulling all this up and giving us all the information. Maxwell, you're the best.
Joe Dante worked with Jerry Goldsmith a whole lot.
Yep. That's why I didn't want to give Stephen Summers he's definitely worked with Sylvester a lot.
David DeCoteau worked with Manfredini mostly.
Mike's case is how often did Michael Bay work with Steve Jablowski?
I think just for the Transformers. And I'm not going to lie, that theme in the first Transformers movie, Arrival to Earth, slaps.
Yeah.
I listen to that track a lot.
Yep, it's awesome.
This guy's a dick.
Clint Eastwood does a lot of his own scores, obviously.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, Blake Edwards also almost exclusively worked with Henry Mancini.
Mm-hmm. Francis Lawrence apparently works with James Newton Howard a lot, too.
Adam McGoyan and Michael Dana.
So much to unpack in all of this.
Roland Emmerich and Harold Klosser.
Who did Independence Day?
That was David Arnold. Who also did
that was David Arnold.
Yeah, he started working with Harold Klosser in 1999 on the 13th Floor, and then everything since then has been him.
Got it.
Sometimes it takes you a while. Fassbender mostly worked with Pierre Rabin. Favreau's worked with John Debney a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Fellini and Nino Rota. Before Fincher used Trent and Atticus, he worked with Howard Shore on Seven, The Game and Panic Room.
Yep.
It's fascinating. Oh, yeah, Mike Flanagan and the Newton Brothers,
yep.
Including for his Hill House shows or haunting shows. The scores for those are stunning.
That's a Halloween costume. Not wrong, Brandy.
We have to, you mentioned this earlier. The fact that the character is Japanese is a nod to like Godzilla and kaiju movies.
Yeah. Which I thought was a brilliant way of also adding diversity to the movie in a way that doesn't always get done. Because I like that you could have easily just had it be another person that was, a white Hollander.
I could see how some might regard it as insensitive, but...
And I'm not going to say whether it's right or wrong in that situation to feel that way, because it's not my place to say that. But I do appreciate it in a way, because I feel like it's kind of nice to actually see that.
Yeah. Inarritu worked a lot with Gustavo Santaolalla, who I think is an incredible composer. His score for Brokeback Mountain is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. Look at Chris's face right now, Max. He's so into it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, David Gordon Green worked a lot with David Wingo. Fascinating.
What about Cameron Crowe? I'm just curious. Did he ever have anyone he worked with a lot, or most of his needle drops?
Give me 1 second.
I was just curious. Like,
he worked with Nancy Wilson and Say Anything, Jerry Maguire, Almost Famous, Vanilla Sky, and Elizabethtown. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Although, like, most of his films are filled with needle drops, I can't think of like scores that stand out to me from those.
I can't either, but I was just curious.
Elizabethtown is a film I always mention when it's like, what's a movie that's just okay with an amazing soundtrack? Elizabethtown.
Oh yeah.
There's so many more. I can't even get through all these. James Ivory and Richard Robbins.
All these kids trying to bring stuff back from the dead.
You know what? I would love to hear the score Howard Shore wrote for King Kong that got rejected.
Me too.
Because I think James Newton Howard's score is great for that film.
Similarly, like, as we know, that his score for The Hobbits, he was not super happy that it got butchered quite a bit within the films themselves.
I don't hate those films, but those films got butchered.
Yeah, and he's talked about a lot that the scores, even Jackson said it, like, the scores were not they're not indicative of the actual score themselves.
I don't know, because those Lord of the Rings films have some of the greatest scores ever composed, and then the Hobbit scores are good, but
holy shit.
Yeah, this stuff it gets extreme in the best way.
Totally.
Wow.
You blown away right now, Chris?
So we got horror, we got Universal monsters. That turtle's dead.
That's such a great shot with like the smoke coming off the bed.
Yeah.
I wonder how they did that. If they did CG or they literally lit the little bed on fire. I can't read that.
I don't know if you could see it, but it says my pre-order for Train to Busan Presents Peninsula is now available.
Oh hell yeah!
I'm gonna be watching that later. I'll tell you what.
I can't wait to see that. I actually think the cat is cuter now because I don't like cats.
That's
so an evil cat with fangs is more indicative of what my mind thinks of with cats.
That was nasty. Kids. That is a flying bat cat.
Which is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly. The animation on that with the wings coming out, the transformation is sensational.
Gorgeous. Ferris said, "What the fuck is going on?"
That poor cat.
Awesomeness is going on. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
I hope she gets eaten or something. I don't think they would do that though in a film like this.
If this movie was in live action, you know who I think would play the gym teacher is Missy Peregrine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or who played the principal in Lizzie McGuire movie?
I could not pull that if I thought about it all day.
Okay.
I can look it up.
Only Chris would be able to ask that.
I've seen that movie.
Leah
But
Deloria would also be cool.
yeah, I love Leah Dolores.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
What the fuck? Disney Plus!
What just happened?
I'm sorry. It's mostly because I'm wildly allergic. My eyes like close shut and I can't breathe.
Chris, what just happened?
The thing just popped up.
It's a medical thing, Brandy. Please don't.
Oh my god.
Oh, Alex Borstein is who you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Who is on Miss Maisel.
Yeah, but I think Leah Delaria would be better.
Brandy doesn't like me anymore. It's
sorry,
medical. I'm so allergic. I was also attacked by a cat once.
That's also fair.
I love that the turtle is named Shelly.
Yeah. As Chris said earlier, he thinks it might be a nod also to Shelley Duvall.
Yeah.
This is one of the best. I love this creature design.
Yeah, it's totally
I mean, I would probably argue it's more likely a nod to Mary Shelley.
That's also true.
Who wrote Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Or both.
Poor Brit.
All right.
Poor Maxwell. No, Max, come back. Ferris says he still loves you. Maxwell, come back. Ferris is here for you. Hi, Max. Ferris says he still loves you for what it's worth. See, Kale understands you, Max, because his sister's allergic to cat hair. Oh, Sparky. Such a good boy. This is one of the, we've talked about it a few times because Maxwell's brought up whenever you take a short or something and you expand it out, it tends to feel padded. I feel like this is one of the times where every little padded thing, it adds so much more to the overall narrative that it doesn't feel unnecessary. And I love it for that. Mike, I agree. Sparky is very much a good boy.
Yes.
We're about to get some giant monster action now.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfection. Shelley.
The mausoleum. Yes.
These kids are going to get their comeuppance. This is Gremlins.
The score.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All these kids coming to Victor now being like, we fucked up. Please help us with our problems, even though you didn't mess everything up the way we did.
The animation of the sweat on his forehead is so good.
Yeah.
That
I just
turtle,
think the animation here is just phenomenal, period.
That turtle is totally Gamera. That's a big problem. Holy mother of pearls. It going through the thing like that's like King Kong.
That noise of the car being stomped on.
Yeah.
Wow, way to just throw your niece away.
Yeah, he's such an awful character, but in the best way. He's like the perfect human villain. Why would you hide in a very movable porta potty?
I think this is a reference to Jurassic Park. You gotta go. You gotta go.
Oh gosh. they kind of look like the Cornish pixies in Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
definitely Gremlins references too. That thing too is in Nightmare Before Christmas. This is hilarious.
Yeah, this is such clearly a Gamera type reference, which I love.
Yeah. Because Gamera is the turtle, right? Yeah.
Yep, which is right there above me. Yes, because your hamster named Colossus is definitely going to be able to kill the turtle. Where did you think that was a good idea? But I love this because he gets wrapped up and it's very mummy-like.
That sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colossus is... Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, that's a horrible way to die. He's going to suffocate. Yeah, that thing is totally from Nightmare Before Christmas. Gremlins. Oh. Brings me back to working at a theater.
I love the creature designs in this. I just think that they're so wildly cool across the board. The popcorn is so brilliant.
That's...
By the way, the character in the Soar is also Martin Short.
Is it really?
God.
I never realized that.
Yeah, Martin Short plays 4 characters.
Right.
No, 3 characters.
I love that he came to Victor and he's like, please help me while I go sit on a Ferris wheel to record all the carnage and all the destruction that I have caused with my giant turtle.
I hope he
gave
gets
you
his
life.
comeuppance.
I love that shot. We really could have watched this in Monster Movie Month too.
We really could have. It really fits in so many.
I don't have any real.
What's that?
I don't have any remorse for him if he gets eaten.
Yeah, I agree. Smart. Victor's smart. Victor and Sparky are a great team.
They really are. Again, there's a reason he's the world's best dog, right?
I love that his first thought is, I'm going to film. Oh! That sound. Oh my God. That's also Catherine O'Hara, Mr. Whiskers owner.
That's amazing.
They
Yes, the dog is the thing we should definitely focus on when literally everything else was attacking us. I can't get over how much Conchetta Farrell sounds like Allison Janney in this.
They kind of
It's
have similar voices.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And the inflection's very similar.
Like, I think about the character, the Oscar-winning role she played in I, Tonya. Very much that sort of voice.
Yeah. And I mean, I think a part of it also, Allison Janney's voice is very clear in my head. I've been watching a lot of The West Wing lately, so...
The best shows of all time.
Yes, sir. I mean, I love her character so much. I think that she is one of the greatest female characters ever put on television.
Interestingly, both Allison Janney and Conchata Farrell spent a good portion of their years growing up in Ohio.
Oh, really?
So maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was curious to see, and they did both spend time in Ohio, so. I love how sort of the beginning is very much like the short, and then the end here is very much like the short. And in the middle, they just enrich the characters and add new, like the windmill on fire. But now Elsa's in there too, because Elsa wasn't in the film, the short.
Yeah. I would love stuff like this too. One of my favorite trailers for the new Animaniacs was having the original cast actually do the voice recording session, and I loved it for that. Hell yeah, Ferris. You're going to love it. Brandy, it is so good. Ferris is going to watch The West Wing for the first time.
There you go.
Ferris, before you watch The West Wing, watch The American President beforehand, which Sorkin also wrote. And Martin Sheen is actually in as the vice president.
The West Wing is basically The American President, the series.
Right. And so it feels like the original pilot for the show.
And it also has PJ's favorite actor of all time in it.
This is true. Michael J. Fox. He skipped a whole paragraph. And Monday morning it is.
Good boy, Sparky.
Oh, no.
Mr. Whiskers.
Bad boy, Mr. Whiskers.
Right?
He's not cute anymore. He's should die.
I also think that The West Wing has one of the best pilots of all time with, like, arguably one of the greatest endings of any first episode of any show.
The ending is mind-blowing.
Yeah. I showed it to my parents for the first time last week, and I've always been weary because there's something very specifically about that last 10 minutes or so that I was always worried showing my parents would have an adverse reaction. If you've seen the episode and you know I grew up in a very conservative Christian household, you might know why that scene might bother people. But my parents took it much better than I expected. So.
Interestingly, I think, the president in The West Wing is a Democrat and the show is very liberal, but I think it has some brilliant episodes about faith.
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Aaron
Sorkin never shied away from that.
I agree. Because I think it's important to Sorkin too.
Wow.
Hell yeah, Reefism. That's what's up. Why won't there we go. Hell yes, Ferris. That's what's up. He's gonna watch The American President. After
it's a really, really strong. Rob Reiner directed it too.
Yep, it was the second movie he directed that Sorkin wrote. The first being A Few Good Men.
Great movie too. A Few Good Men and The Trial of Chicago 7 will make an excellent double feature.
Yep. Just like if you watch The American President and The West Wing pilot back to back, you're in for a real treat too, and then it just gets better from there.
Oh.
Goddamn right. Sometimes adults don't know what they're talking about. This shot is almost exactly the same as the one out of the short film, too.
This is even more poignant of a an ending than the short.
Because you've spent more time with all the characters and Sparky to this point, too.
Punch it, Chewie.
Mm-hmm. Mike says, sometimes adults don't know what they're talking about. Can almost sum up a lot of family films and 2020.
Yep. Well done, Mike.
Yeah, Mike's got the jokes tonight.
I laugh because I would cry if I didn't. I already cried tonight on camera. I don't need to cry again.
I hate that line. You don't have to come back if you don't want to. It just breaks my heart.
Oh.
No. Sparky. Oh, this shot is so brilliant, though. The way it sits, the way it builds to this is just so good. He's like, I woke up from my nap now. Ferris is worried about you, Max. He wants to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I do love the Princess Bride now. This is true. He's so happy. I love it. And there's the bride.
And the mayor
she's so happy to see him, and I love that they have like this little relationship, and it's so cute. Oh, they're so cute together. It's adorable.
Sequel.
Right? God, that movie's just so good, you guys. God, I freaking love it.
Oh.
Catherine O'Hara was the voice of Weird Girl, one of her characters. How
that's who owns Mrs. Whiskers.
No, I know, but I just love that it's literally Weird Girl, and it's the best. I love this cover, by the way. I think it's so brilliant. But guys, that was Frankenweenie, the Tim Burton stop motion film that he took from being a fledgling short film to a full length film. Again, the original was about 26 minutes or so. This one clocks in at about 90. It's an hour and 20 going into the credits. So they plussed it out about an hour, and yet it works. I think that I kind of said it earlier, I think everything it added is good and makes it even better. I think it makes for a strong viewing where you get a lot more character development. You get to spend more time with all the characters in the world. New Holland is so interesting. Like, it feels very fleshed out in a cool way. I like that world. And I think it's got a pretty damning look at how we look at our education system and the idea of people trying to make our kids better and believe in science and stuff. And it's, laughed off or pushed out in a way that is done to be, well, they're just brainwashing our kids. What does science know? And I think it explains a lot of why we're at where we are right now. People writing off what's happening with COVID just because they don't like science. They don't want to believe it. And it's really sad, but I think Burton's 100% right with this. Go to Chris. This is your first time watching it. What did you think, my friend?
It superseded the short leaps and bounds. I liked all the references to classic horror. I loved the last act with the kaiju.
Yeah, Brandy.
It was a really, really heartwarming story. It was fun. I'm glad I watched it, and it didn't feel padded at all. It felt like it really explored what you needed to explore. I also feel like the guy from Home Alone voicing the father wouldn't have worked in this film. I don't think it would have sounded right. I don't know, but
that's totally fair.
I think Martin Short did a great job. So
no, I think he's fantastic in this.
Would have been funny though if the guy from Home Alone, the Robert from Home Alone, and Catherine O'Hara were husband and wife. That would have been a fun little kind of thing. But yeah,
totally. But it's so good. I'm glad we got to watch it. Maxwell, what were your thoughts now on both our rewatch of this feature-length version and the short film?
Yeah, I think it's fascinating to watch the short before the feature.
What's the briefism?
Clear, you can see the inspiration, and yeah, I agree with Patty. I think it's fantastic. I think it's very much one of my favorite Tim Burton films. I think it's like, as an artistic statement, sums up everything he has tried to accomplish in his career. But at the heart of it is a story about a boy and his dog, and I think it handles it so beautifully and so much genuine emotion.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know the actor's name, I apologize, but the kid who voices the boy, who voices Victor, does such an amazing job and sells the emotion and love of a boy and his dog so well. The horror references, the kaiju stuff, the everything from Vincent Price to Santa Claus Goes to Town to the bat, everything is just, and the scenes recreated almost shot for shot from the short look fantastic. I think it's just such a great film. And I agree. The fact that they allowed him to do it in black and white was brave and such a great choice. I think it's really fantastic.
The black and white thing is the thing that sticks out to me, because I know I brought it up while we were watching it, but it was just like, man, they actually let him do that, and it's not a thing a lot of studios would do.
It was probably very much. I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, "I'll do Alice in Wonderland if you let me do this," sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a smash hit at the box office, but I think it did well enough to justify its existence, and I think it's probably endured well on home video and now on Disney Plus.
I tend to agree with that as well. I think that it continues to find an audience, and the best way, like tonight, look, we had a bunch of people who had never seen it who watched for the first time with us.
And what I like too is that it's a little dangerous.
Yes.
I think it's perfectly acceptable, if not encouraged, in family films or children's films to have a little danger, because I think, introducing those themes and peril at a younger age probably lends towards more emotional maturity. That would be my it does have some scary moments. I mean, it's intense. That final act gets intense.
Yeah.
But I think it earns it, and I love that it's intense.
To Maxwell's point, I think it's part of the reason that I've always loved Doctor Who and a lot of the 80s and 90s kids films and stuff. Was Stephen Moffat said it best, like Doctor Who's always at its best when it's not only being good science fiction, but it's also getting kids to hide behind a couch, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I miss, the danger in family films. I think that American Tail is a great example of that. And American Tail is a very dark movie, and yet it still endures. And I think Frankenweenie,
American Tail is kind of a Holocaust allegory.
Oh, a little. It totally is, like, in such a big way, and it's a beautiful film. But I love that we got to revisit this together, because I think that you and I have such a reverence for it, and we got to share it with people, and Chris got to discover it for the first time with everyone else who had never seen it.
My mind is blown right now. A star from Twilight, Michael Welch, voiced Mr. Whiskers.
What? Really?
I'm not even joking. I didn't even know that. Okay. I was just looking at the cast list, and yep, Michael Welch from Twilight voices Mr. Whiskers, and only Mr. Whiskers. I
just love everyone who talks about the solid Chris. Chris, people love your jump scares.
Oh, yeah, that was, I didn't really think that would happen, but it did. I should have had my pillow.
Yeah, and I thought about it. This is in my top 3, Tim Burton. Ed Wood, Big Fish,
sure.
and Frankenweenie are my top 3.
Yeah, it's definitely in my top 5.
The bottom 2 get more tricky because there's 4 or 5 that could easily place in the 2, but yeah. I think Tim Burton gets a lot of flack, and I think he's definitely made some truly terrible films.
I should do it, Tim Burton.
Well, like I said,
but I would argue that he has more good than bad. I think the conversation around his oeuvre has become very much an internet echo chamber that isn't necessarily reflective of his actual output. He said some problematic things. We discussed that off stream the other day. That he should address, but I think he's really made some wonderful films, and like I said during the short, has such a distinct visual style. We should do
I Survivor Island of his filmography.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. We should
I
do
think
that.
that's a great idea, actually, and I think there's a lot to do with that. But man, I'll also say to your point, like I said earlier, I think that Burton up to 2010, I think he was like he batted very, very high. There's very few of his movies up to Alice that I don't enjoy.
Well, I think Planet of the Apes is his worst movie, and that was well before 2010.
Really?
But,
yeah, okay.
But again, I also, as I said earlier, he didn't conceive that movie. He was a gun for hire
sure.
on that property. So I've never blamed him.
Having Mark Wahlberg in a movie, you're automatically putting me at a disadvantage to liking something.
Right.
Like the few movies he's in that I love, they must be really great effing movies if I'm able to get over my dislike of Mark Wahlberg, both as a human and an actor.
No, totally. But, seriously, I love this movie. I love that we got to revisit this. I'd love to do more Tim Burton films on here because I think we've already done Beetlejuice. We're doing Sleepy Hollow. We did this. He's got a great filmography. We might have.
I'd love to do Ed Wood because I think of all of his films, it may be one of the most underseen, and I think it's his best work. So
totally.
Scary Movie Squad.
Yeah,
that doesn't have to be. I don't think Ed Wood has to be Scary Movie Squad.
No, definitely not. That can be its own little thing. But guys, I don't think we have a lot left to say. If you want to get any last minute Streamlabs in real fast, go for it. I can't put the link in the description because Streamlabs has been weird to us all night.
I could not agree more, Ferris. He is a real piece of shit.
It's weird. I like so many of his movies, but I dislike him so much.
He's been in some good films, but
I like Perfect Storm a lot in Rockstar.
Yeah, but
I'm a huge fan of Boogie Nights. Which he thinks is his worst film, naturally.
Well, of course he does. You know what, my friend? You want to run through real fast what we got going on before we get out of here? Because we can talk about that Wahlberg thing, and I don't.
Maybe we'll talk about it Sunday.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night, exclusively on the PJCN Twitch. If you haven't checked out our Twitch, please go and follow us there. At 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, we're doing a randomized Pokemon adventure, playing the Game Boy Advance games Fire Red and Leaf Green. Everything is randomized: the trainers, gym leaders, encounters. Myself and my wife, Sean Sully, and his girlfriend Jillian, Chris Clark, and his friend Kristen Smith will all be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a bit of an experiment. We'll see how it goes. We'll have
I might be there.
6 separate Pokemon games going on. Yeah, PJ will probably join in the voice chat to help us out and cheer us on. Yeah, I agree. The partner is great. But
what's up, Keon?
It still bothers me. I wasn't gonna go all Mark Wahlberg does is curse in this movie, and there's so many brilliant performances, and he's the only fucking actor that got nominated for that movie. Blows my mind.
Maybe
anyway,
yes, maybe no, maybe fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin, fucking Patriot Act.
Real quick, we got a $20 donation from one Mr. Ferris Muthana. He just said
Ferris.
hello. Thank you, Ferris, for the donation. We really appreciate it.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm never eating at Wahlburgers. Thank you so much, Ferris. That's really sweet of you and unnecessary, but we appreciate it. Wednesday night, Suddenly Soundtracks is doing a very special Add It to Playlist Halloween Party Edition. I am so excited. We're all going to talk about the songs we would basically put on a playlist if we were having a Halloween party. Chris in his hat, Tim Franco, Danny, Rachel Silvestrini, Danny from Call to Action. It's going to be a lot of fun. A great panel with spoiler alert, I've seen everyone's list, and what's amazing to me is there's such minimal overlap. And after the episode, we'll post a link to the full playlist on Spotify so you can use it for your own Halloween parties. And there's everything from TV themes to metal to fun covers of classic. It's gonna be great. Thursday night we're not doing anything, so that's a great night for you to watch Box 2 if you haven't already. Hey, put some balls in your mouth. Friday night, Tim Burton week continues with one of his best films, I think, Sleepy Hollow. It's such an incredible cast. It's such a great adaptation of the classic story. It's spooky, it's gothic. I love it. I know Chris loves it. It's gonna be fun. We're being joined by such a great panel, including Aaliyah, who I'm sure you all know, who'll be making her PJCN debut. Saturday night is Halloween. I can't believe it's already here. Double feature, Trick or Treat, which is an amazing anthology of spooky Halloween themed stories. One of my all-time favorite films based on Halloween. And then Halloween 2018, which, as I've said, is one of my favorite Michael Myers movies. That's going to be a great, great night. Spoiler alert, we will be in costume. And under my costume, I will be wearing my trick or treat shirt, so it's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to wear my trick or treat shirt also underneath my costume because I'm also dressing up. And I just want to shout out this. Look at that rewatch.
Oh, thank you, Brandy.
Brandy.
And also, we'll let you know when it gets a little closer what time we're doing this. I would imagine we'll do it a little earlier than our normal time, maybe an hour and a half earlier, just because it's 2 films.
Yeah.
Sunday, the unwind, of course. Maybe we'll talk about Mark Wahlberg. Maybe we'll talk about our feelings. Maybe we'll talk about who knows what.
You know what I want to talk about a little bit too. I don't know if you guys have seen this thing going around on the interwebs where people are looking at their repeats on Spotify and talking about
absolutely
that we've been listening to.
I did my repeat list. That's actually a great idea. So we'll be talking about that. Perfect. Also, as we've been saying, election night, November 3rd, we are doing what we are calling the PJCN Safe Space. Starting at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, although that time may change, we may get earlier. We are literally just going to stream, hang out, maybe play some Jackbox, keep our eye on the election results. We just want to have a fun, comfortable, safe space for us and for any of you who want to join us to weather the storm of election night. It's going to be
positivity.
As we always try to be. That's what I love about this network, and I think what makes us stand out is how we try to be optimistic and positive and operate with empathy first.
Well, and I'll say, like, we kind of said it earlier. I think this is history in the making tonight, or that night, I should say.
What's up, Sean?
What's going on, Sean? So I think that we should definitely be together on that night because I think you're going to want to remember whatever happens next, and to be together through all of it is going to be the best thing we can possibly do.
Yep. And speaking of empathy and optimism, I just want to give my personal thanks to all of our patron producers, our executive producers, Brandy Parker and Ricardo Franco. You are incredible. Our Ruby Tier producers, Brandon Buckingham, Kale, the youth critic, Stephen White, Ferris Muthana, who also donated tonight. You spoil us, Ferris. We love you. Mike K, Bedore, and the lovely Molly Damon. If you'd like to join our Patreon, please check it out. And if you'd like to be one of our producers and get shouted out in every episode, $10 and up gets these credits. Here's just a quick look at our Patreon tiers. We have so many different options. All of them get access to our Discord where we talk about movies. We're going to be emailing bullshit, sports, video games, whatever. We're going to be emailing our patrons probably tomorrow to schedule an exclusive AMA stream. And when I say AMA, I really mean anything you want to ask us, we will answer.
Literally anything.
Our gold memberships get to request Suddenly Soundtracks, which Brandy did last month. We did Cabaret. I thought it was fantastic. If you haven't watched it yet, please do. It's a terrific episode. And we have 2 executive producers now. We were only supposed to be limited to 1 a month, but they wanted it. We gave it to them. So they will be requesting watch-alongs, and whatever they request, we're going to watch along.
I love Brandy every time.
Yeah.
And then look at Ferris. You spoil me with this content.
Oh,
Ferris. God damn, man.
Yeah,
you guys give me the feelings.
We love Sean and Jill. They're such great people.
No, and I just want to say once again, guys, I really thank you, all of you, for all of this. You keep showing up week in, week out, day in, day out for all of these shows. Like, we know that there's so many things you could be watching on the internet. I really am humbled by the fact that you keep coming back to ours. Like, we've done almost 60 watch-alongs.
This was 56 tonight since the start of COVID.
Yeah, so we've done 56 watch-alongs. Chris, you've been on almost every single one since the beginning with me. Maxwell, you didn't come much farther behind that. Like, I had
in April, and I've been on a majority of. You know what I love? I love, and I've said this before. You know, this network was really started out of COVID.
Yeah,
out of a way to get us together, to get friends together, to produce content, and I think it's grown beyond that so much.
Yeah,
and I think we're going to be around for a long time. So keep telling your friends, subscribe, hit that like button.
Building our audience, it's great.
Yeah.
You guys just show us so much love. There's so many in-jokes and stuff now. Like, I get tweets from you guys all the time about jokes that we've been talking about. And
I mean, salad.
Yeah, the salad thing. Or even just, like, I was beyond amazed how many tweets that we all got tagged in about that Addams Family news that broke. Yeah. Because, like, everyone watches our content, knows that we've been talking about it, and you guys all just showed up, and it was just so awesome. Like, I am beyond amazed by all the support you guys have given us, and you've given us just so much of your time, and I hope that we can only give as much back to you guys as you have given us. So thank you.
Yes, this is true. Hogue has been working on a particular gig.
Yeah.
That gig is almost done, and he will be joining us for Watchalong soon. I definitely know he's going to be on a lot of the Merry Movie Squad stuff,
which is being announced on Saturday.
Yes, yeah. You know, we would love to hit 500 subscribers. So take to your social media and tell people to subscribe.
Oh, 500.
And Hogue will be back. Like, this was not him like separating or anything. He got a gig and he's been busy, and he checks in with us a lot. And he knows, like, we tag him in things. He's still around. He just hasn't been able to.
I think it's okay to say he's been working on the set of a TV show, and if you've ever worked on set, it's like 12, 14, 16-hour days sometimes. The last thing you want to do after that is internet content. And speaking of Hogue, if you haven't seen Good Guy with a Gun, you should check that out. His performance in that is really astonishing. And his short film So, which is great, that he directed.
And there's more to come from him. I know he's working on some other stuff. And similarly to what Maxwell said, we're not done here either. Like, you guys thought that Box was like a one-off, but that was just the beginning of some of the stuff that we've been cooking up behind the scenes, doing other content. If
you like scripted content, if you like gaming, there's a lot more stuff to come. We may be writing something. We may be we're cooking up a lot of stuff.
And we also have some unscripted content. We heard you guys. You guys want to see more movie reviews. You want to see more physical content type.
Yeah, there's some big thing coming up as well.
So. Yeah, we have a lot of exciting stuff, and we took all the surveys you filled out to heart, and these last 2 months of the year are going to be busy, but definitely in January we're going to start doing more short form content with movie reviews. We're going to let our patrons vote on older films they'd like us to review. So me and PJ, or me, PJ, and Tim, or whoever, will watch them, and then we'll come and do like short 20-minute video reviews. So there's going to be a lot more than just the live streams coming up in January.
Yeah. I promise you guys, like, I love doing this, and the beauty of my job during the day is working on the Schmodown and doing this stuff at night. It all kind of ties together, so it gives me the opportunity to do a lot of it.
And speaking of the Schmodown, Friday is the horror free-for-all.
Yes.
Please watch it. It's going to be awesome.
I really hope you guys will love it.
I think I'm allowed to say that I helped and worked through every single question with PJ. It really runs the gamut of horror history, everything from like Hammer horror films and Universal Monsters all the way up to like The Invisible Man. Just this year is covered. I don't know exactly what questions got asked in the match, because as PJ always does, he wrote probably double the amount of questions he needed just in case.
I did. I for a second, I never know what I'm going to need. And you and I worked on it. And I was up for like a week straight, just almost every night. I was up working, and I wrote a lot of horror questions. You guys know I love the scary. So
PJ Steele into the Steelbook.
I would do. You know what? I'll say this. And I've had a few people ask us why we're not doing a show about my Blu-ray collection and your movie collection. And I was like, Dan and them are all doing stuff like that, but people keep asking about it. Maybe we'll consider doing something like that, because
maybe we could do like a one-off Steelbook episode.
Yeah,
something like a lot. Yeah. All right. Well, we've talked a lot. We've watched 2 really great films. We've bared our hearts, and I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for joining us, Chris. Where can the kids find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, not salad, at Chris Clark 8788.
Those numbers mean nothing.
Can we just talk about that? You could see the gears in his head, making sure that he didn't say salad that time. Like, I could see you thinking.
The reason I did last time was because it was brought up, and it just
we were talking about kale.
Kale. And that's what happens when something pops into my head. I just say it, and I replace it with a random word, and sometimes it's horrible.
Yeah, that's fair. PJ, where can they find you online?
You guys can find me on the Twitters and the Instagrams at PJ_Campbell. You can find me here hanging out with all my favorite people, doing all of this with you guys. So thank you for all your support. And of course, the Movie Trivia Schmodown. I'm the head writer. Please be nice.
Maybe next year.
There will not be an Ernest Scared Stupid question. No. I can assure you.
I'll say this. I made sure that there was no family-friendly horror questions, specifically because I didn't want people being thrown off by things while they were playing. I went really straight horror.
Yeah, I agree. You can find me on Twitter at Cinemaxwell, Instagram Cinemaxwell Inc., Salad Waldorf _Maxwell. Tomorrow night, again, as Sean said, where was it? Tomorrow night. He tweeted tomorrow night. There it is. Tomorrow night. Our Twitch. We'll all tweet out the link to our Twitch. That'll be 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 Pacific for some Pokemon-y goodness. We will see you there. We love you all. Have a spooky, spooky evening.